Should Canada go cashless? There was an article in Maclean's magazine saying that Interact payments are up 17% as people are starting to go more and more cashless during the pandemic. So I want to first start with this idea, is there a need for cash anymore? Connie on Facebook wrote and said there are low-income families or the homeless community that relies on cash. This would hurt them more. And Connie, I kind of agree. I can't imagine a completely cashless society. I always carry a certain amount of cash on me. Mostly, I will admit, for the reasons Connie mentioned, for homeless people, and also because there's certain places that I go to that only use cash. I mean, for me, the only thing I remember back in the day when I was a belly dancer, I only got paid in cash. So I had a little kind of secret drawer that I would put the money in, and every once in a while I would unearth it and be really happy that I have this stash of cash. But I was always secretly worried that what happens if we get robbed, or what happens if there's a fire? So I think there's got to be a bit of a balance there.
I'll tell you guys, remember that movie Minority Report where Tom Cruise is trying to put his debit card, credit card in and nothing's working and all his balances are like he's seeing Zippo? That's what I picture. And it scares me because if we don't have cash, we don't have power. It means that someone can just turn off our access to our accounts. I know it sounds dark, but these are the things that I think about. Someone could completely say, you know what? I don't want Marcy to be able to go to the grocery store. Boop. And all of a sudden I can't access anything, because I'm using cards and don't have cash. I have to say, this has probably happened to all of us. Yes.
I was just going to say, couldn't that happen if eventually they also, if some places decided that they didn't want to take cash anymore? The same thing could happen, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry,
and we're seeing more and more of that. And that's scaring me. But also to your point, Cyn, you're right. You always carry cash because you've lent it to me before because I'm walking around with debit cards. So I've now learned a lesson. Really? Cynthia's like, I have cash. You always do. So I've learned a lesson where I really feel like I have to have cash on me more. I have to, and maybe you're right, it needs to be a balance, but completely cashless scares me. Think Minority Report. That's all I have to say.
We have a comment from Karen on Facebook. Karen says, if we're to go cashless, then the companies should stop charging for transactions on both sides, the consumer side and the retail side. The cost for business for these transactions adds a substantial expense to their business. Thank you for that, Karen. My parents used to run a restaurant, and you're right, every time someone paid credit card or debit card, there was a fee that the business has to pay, and it can add up for small businesses. It can add up to such a huge chunk of change. I always carry cash on me. I do use card and phone to pay, but I feel more secure with cash, even for the small things. There's some grocery stores that still take the quarter where you have to put it into the cart to remove it from the thing and then push your card into the shopping center. There are places archaically that still need a quarter or a loonie or something. But also I think culturally, where I come from, we in the village and whatever, it's not unheard of to stash cash in secret places, to use embroidery and needlepoint skills to sew up some cash and to either bury it somewhere or hide it somewhere. And so that has always been part of our life in my circle where I grew up. And so habitually, I know many people who are protecting themselves by putting some money away for a rainy day.
That's funny you mentioned the quarter, Lainey. That's actually the only cash I carry. I have a little quarter just for the shopping cart when I do my weekly shopping cart run. But I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if 5 years from now, if you're paying your neighbor's kid to shovel your driveway or mow your front lawn by tapping your debit card on his phone. I really do think, we've already seen it. It's become so convenient that even in the summertime, there's a little fruit stand on the corner of our street. And the farmer has an iPad with a little thing on the top, and you just swipe your card through it. It's incredible. It's actually gotten to the point where I do get annoyed when a business is cash only. And I know that comment that you read, that running debit and credit machines can be very expensive. But I think in this day and age, it's simply the price of doing business. Like, it's got to be factored in the way you would factor in the rent, your insurance, paying your employees, and your banking fees so that customers can pay you.
Yeah, it's true. It's all I've been doing. If I'm only going out grocery shopping, and now with a new dog, going to the pet supply store, nobody is taking cash. No one anywhere. It's either a tap or it's paying online in advance, because that is what I fear is going to be our post-pandemic world.